even more appropriate. So I'm the only turkey up here now. Okay. I'm Gary Brown. I'm president of the Porter County Isaac Walton. We don't have a building, but we have 150 acres of conservation lands paid for by mostly mitigation money. Our former president used to work for Enbridge. Oops, there's another oil spill from the pipeline, right? And NIPSCO and others. And from the Conservation Fund, which helps with mitigation money with people all over the country. So Jim Sweeney, who I changed his name today to me, is at the Kankakee, his first love, because he was working with the river basin and the changes down there. But our chapter is known because this is our 60th anniversary year. Herb and Charlotte Reed, maybe you know that name. They're the founding members, and they were originally with Save the Dunes, okay? Herb remembers his grandfather working to save the State Dune Park. I'm just coming in the last 5 years, so I have to learn all this, okay? But I'm telling you, I'm learning more every day about wildlife. We have a farm called the Frame Family Farm. Think of it as a picture frame of wildlife. We have deer, we have coyotes, we have wild turkeys, we have blue herons flying across, and we spent money from the national and from other sources to create 3 more ponds. We've got peepers, frogs going crazy right now, and we've got all sorts of new things happening. The sandhill cranes are coming down to check out the new ponds. They used to be 1,000 feet in the air. They'll scare you coming across the treetop level behind your head. It's terrific. We're ready for tours. Let me know, or catch me out here and I'll give you our website. Unfortunately, put Patty's name with my website, northwestindianaconservation.org will connect you up. And remember all of this, because this is local. We can put you in right now. Okay? God bless you all. Keep working and don't give up.
Great. We're going to ask Susan from the Ogden Dunes Environmental Advisory Board to come talk about their work in Ogden Dunes.
Hi, I'm Susan Mahalo, and some of you may know me. I work for the Nature Conservancy during the day, but during the night I have an opportunity to become an advocate, which I really can't do on my day job. I chair the Ogden Dunes Environmental Advisory Board, and we have a group of like 7 wonderful volunteers. And the reason why I want to talk with you about it is because if you live in a community that doesn't have an environmental advisory board, it might be something you want to talk about your city council or town council to implement, because we have a great group of people. Each person has a role on our advisory board. For instance, I had one person recently just bird dogging a clean closure plan from Indiana American Water on a backflush lagoon that's been causing problems over a couple of years. Every person on your board could actually take a role. Role definition is very important. I'm just going to mention a couple things, activities that we do. We keep citizens informed on our town's response, how we've responded. I write letters for our town council, our board looks at them, provides comments, and then we take it to the town council, and they send off the letters for us. We did recently on the hexavalent chromium issue. It's finally nice to meet you, Colin. I don't think we've been working together for 2 years, and I don't think we've had an opportunity to really meet face to face. We prepare actions and letters for the town council on a variety of things like NPDES permits, consent decrees. We do NEPA review. For instance, when the South Shore Railroad was planning on doing a double tracking, there were environmental consequences that we wanted to make sure got captured. We track industry compliance. We have people just bird dogging that virtual file cabinet. Different industries. We have that whole industrial complex just a couple miles away from Ogden Dunes, unfortunately. We ask for citizen participation. For instance, recently, the hazardous landfill permit that's being renewed for U.S. Steel Midwest, they had a meeting over at the Portage Public Library about a week and a half ago, and I think I had because I put the request out there and our other board members recruited people, we had about 30 people from Ogden Dunes, and Nancy Moldenauer was there from Michigan City, and it was just, I think it was just tremendous that we had that kind of response. And not every single person may be able to make a comment that's going to actually make a difference in the permit, but it was good for IDDEM to see that we cared. And it was good for the plant manager who was actually there to see that and make that connection with a group of citizens that actually care. And so maybe they will start making a difference in how they do their environmental management system. We educate residents on issues like invasive species, stormwater management, beach water quality, and septic systems. A couple years ago, we put out a clean water booklet to help them understand things like they shouldn't feed the seagulls on the beach, they need to clean up their dog poo, things like that that affect water quality that they may not have been aware of. We apply for funding every year to monitor our beach water quality from IDEM. We get funding every year to do that. And we also conduct Adopt a Beach. I'm sorry to see that the Alliance for the Great Lakes isn't here, but they run a great Adopt a Beach program. You can also do that on some of the inland waterways as well. And the data that you gather from that, because you have to tally all the litter, you can actually use for advocacy. At the Portage Lakefront site, when that was implemented a number of years ago, they were using a lot of straws and lids on the cups, and we started noticing that washing up on our beach. So we took the data to them and we said, is there any way you can get rid of these, why do you need lids? Why do you need straws? And I think they actually moved to cans of pop instead of having that. So using the data. And then we advise the town on ordinances that could either help or hinder clean water. For instance, dogs on the beach and septic systems. Even though the county monitors most of that, there are still actions the town can take, like making sure that a septic system is inspected before a house is sold. So again, work with other groups like MPCA, Save the Dunes. If you have a permit that needs to be reviewed, look at that virtual file cabinet. Look at inspections that were done. Understand past violations. Look for patterns. Find people who are retired from the facility and see if they can provide expertise. And again, provide context about why your comments matter. Always refer to drinking water. Always, if you're near the national park, live near the national park, always refer to the national park and those impacts. I had the fortunate ability to be able to work with Charlotte Reed many years ago with Save the Dunes. I didn't work for Save the Dunes, I was on their board, but working with her hand in hand showed me that you have to be brave and you have to just dig in. Don't be intimidated. Industry needs to be reminded that they are part of a larger community. And then finally, just so you know, they mentioned submitting a complaint. IDEM does have to follow up on every single complaint. And yes, it becomes part of the public record. And that's what I always tell our residents. Make a complaint, because then it gets into the file and then it becomes part of your future data if you need it. That's all I have to say. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Susan. Jen from Sierra Club, Indiana will bring us on home. Thanks.
Thank you. I think we're running over. I'll try to make this really fast. I'm Jen Warnicki Ellis. I am the vice chair of Sierra Club Dunelands Group. We're the local group of Sierra Club, which is a national organization. We're the oldest national grassroots environmental organization in the country. And Dunelands focuses on the super local issues. Since we're the local group, we cover the 6 counties in Northwest Indiana, Lake, Porter, LaPorte, the 3 south of that. So we've got Newton, Jasper, and Stark. And most of our members are in Lake and Porter, so we do most of our work there, but we do cover everybody. A lot of our work does involve water issues. Almost everything environmental overlaps into water at some point. We've got XCOM members that kind of have their own little niche. We've got 7 XCOM members. We're a completely volunteer organization. We do have one that focuses on water quality, who is here today. And our chair, who's out at our table in the corner that you can grab, focuses on solar. I focus mostly on conservation. So one of our big campaigns right now is our new Connecting Greenways for Wildlife that we're just starting to kick off. Real focus on, well, restoring habitat, which is a huge way to battle climate change. And it's something that people can do in their own homes, on their own properties, to plant native plants. Really helps water quality out a lot too. And it's something we're doing, partnering with a number of organizations in Northwest Indiana, the Ikes and Shirley Hines, and just to name a couple. And we're also partnering with cities so that people can do this at a kind of linking level. Wild Ones is another organization that we're working with. they focus on native plants at a residential level. So one of the cities we're working with is Gary, with the idea that we're kind of attacking the 1,400 abandoned lots to put native plant seeds in and create a real nice link of native plants there. And people can do that on their own properties, working with wild ones, contacting us to get some really good connections going. Some other water issues we're working with HEC, the CAFO issue. That's actually our next meeting this month. Our meetings are the third Wednesday of every month, and that one's going to be in Shelby at the Ike's Lodge there. And we've also got some work going on with the East Chicago lead issue that one of our members is working on. And if you want any more information about any of our issues, just grab us in the lobby and I'll pass it on.
So thank you, everybody. I know the Sierra Club and a number of other organizations have information outside, so please feel free to stop on the way out. And before we close, or to close the day, I want to invite Walt Bredinger up to just close us out with some final thoughts.
Thanks, Robert. Let's give another round of applause for Robert and Julie and for Aaron. I'd like to start out with a question. How many folks would like to see us do this again next year? That's wonderful. I'm sure everybody had a great time. We're a little bit over. I know some of you are wondering, what can I do tomorrow? What can I do Monday to follow through with all these different suggestions? I wrote up on the board, on Monday, we're expecting Senator Charbonneau to play a role in deciding whether or not House Bill 1266 will be passed. You have an opportunity Monday morning to call that 800 number on the phone and encourage Charbonneau to vote against that bill. That bill would tend to reduce or erode our ability to prevent erosion or to reduce erosion from construction sites. I chair a group called the Valparaiso Chain of Lakes Watershed Group, and our biggest problem, and by the way, we're a tiny watershed, 4 square miles north of Valparaiso, and we don't have a problem with CAFOs or with fire suppressants or with industrial pollution, or at least none that I know of. But we have a problem with stormwater management. We're getting a lot of mud and silt sediment from construction sites. We're getting stormwater runoff from pesticides and herbicides, and you all can do something about that right away tomorrow. Try to cut out or at least drastically reduce your use of lawn chemicals and other substances, oil and gasoline running into the roads and the gutters, which end up in our lakes, rivers, and streams. Thank you very much. We do have a couple of events coming up that I'd like to remind you about. One is on May 20th. Professor Ian Tashner from IU is going to speak on the topic of pesticides at the Porter County Administration Building at 7 o'clock on May 20th. If you wish to sign up or get more information, you can see our booth in the far corner and speak to Nora or to Susan. We have a booth that says Valpo Chain of Lakes. On June 22nd, we have an outdoor event at Rogers Lakewood Park called Nature Palooza. We're going to have a host of seminars outdoors. We have a picnic and boating. We have canoes and kayaks set up, and we have a lot of scientists there. We do a nature hike and have exhibits from a multitude of environmentalists and exhibitors, some of which are in the room. So. Thank you. I guess you all heard that. It's free. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to thank our hosts at Valpo, and particularly Professor Julie Peller, who really pulled this all together. Thanks, and now everybody get out of here and enjoy the beautiful weekend. Thanks.